People don't know what to believe in.
Right.
So CEO at the helm of the company is thinking, hey, if I dig into my cash reserves, my stock price is going to go down. He's looking at it and saying, I need to keep the company alive because that's the separate entity. So there's so many narratives they're struggling with, and they just don't have the decisiveness to kind of pick the narrative that suits the occasion. Wow. So I think that's what a lot of companies are struggling with right now.
Interesting. I mean, so let me just come back and ask you a few questions. Like, now that we are this thing, man. So, I mean, we got into an interesting conversation. So I loved it. I mean, I really, really love that, man. So, I mean, one of the things is, do you think this COVID-19, is going to alter us? And if so, how much? I mean, okay, I'm going to put you on again, I'm not going to hold you to it. When do you think some level of new normal or the old normal, whatever it is, you think we will get there?
Right. So let me answer your first question and then the sub question. So if you look at any generation after World War I, World War II, they all changed in some form of way. Right. And can you remember the time when our parents used to say, listen, be a lawyer, be an engineer, be a doctor, be a farmer, and you look at the jobs that are going to be really essential today, it's going to be those jobs that our parents told to take, right? Because the what they went through defined their choices, right? Now, if we continue in this process for the next 6 to 7 to 8 months, it's unimaginable suffering that's going to happen. And suffering is what alters people's perceptions, right? So enough of that suffering will change your mindset, change the way you look at life. And then we will change in some form of way, not for the longest run, but this generation that goes through it will have some sort of predefined. Right, and then after about 20 years, people will forget it. They'll talk about it just like we talk about the World War II, something they can't relate to, right? So I think if this continues on, yes, there will be a change. Will we get back to some form of normal? I think we're about 14 months away.
14 months? Yeah. Man, I've spoken to about 3-4 people. You are like the guy I'm speaking like about, 4th or 5th. No reflection on the priority, I love you, bro. But I just wanted to wait and do a few things before I come to you. But you gave the longest, to be very honest. So you are saying 14 months at least. Yeah,
and I think for Sri Lanka to get back to where we are or where we were, right? Get back to at least the run rate that we were at. We're looking about 14 months, man. Easy.
Wow, that's interesting. But of course, I think coming back to I think we're certainly not expecting everyone to survive through this, right? In terms of companies.
So interestingly, China had started some sort of vaccine trials in China.
Right.
Even if the vaccine comes out in the next 6 months, a lot of people are going to be hesitant to take it. And by the time something more sustainable comes out, it'll be about 12 to 13 months ahead, right? Wow. So, I think it'll probably take that long. Yeah.
Matt, you just took a bit of my excitement out. Right, listen, I mean, out of all the people I've been speaking to, I think you probably have the most international footprint and more people abroad. And you are constantly in touch with those foreign people than anybody else I'm speaking to on a regular basis. What is your assessment about Sri Lanka? What is your assessment about other countries? Where do you see the problems are much more bigger? Where do you think where the solutions are much more stronger? What is your give me like a global kind of a perspective, mate, on this?
Yeah, so I think a lot of there are some of my friends who are in different countries who are kind of who are struggling with social anxiety. Some people are struggling with a certain amount of depression. And some of the things that they can't do routinely is aggravating the mental state. Right. For us in Sri Lanka, for most of us, not everybody, most of us in Sri Lanka have the luxury of having your extended family close by. You we're still very closely knit community, so we don't feel that loneliness. Some spheres of Sri Lankan society don't feel that loneliness. But when you look at some of the other countries, it's getting very lonely, and social isolation can lead into a lot of issues in the long run, right? So when you look at from a support structure perspective, right? Because we are so concentrated within an island, we're still a hopscotch and a jump away from the people that matter to us.
Right.
But you take the US, your parents might be in one state, you might be in another state,
right? And
some of these people might not even be able to take care of themselves. Now that might well be happening in Sri Lanka right now.
Right.
But it's more aggravated, when you look at the global scenario. So I think from a social support context, I think Sri Lanka is very far ahead. We always have this culture of, taking care of people. And there are some other countries that are following suit where people are helping people.
Yeah.
But, I think we can sustain a little bit longer. I'm not sure for how long, but we can still sustain it.
Yeah.
Worst come to worst, right? I mean, this country is blessed in itself that a lot of us can go back to our village.
Yeah.
We could get down, roll our sleeves up, jump into the battlefield, grow something.
Yeah.
But if you're living in a large metropolitan town, that's impossible.
That's never going to happen. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's impossible. Right? You take a look at a simple concept like water. Right, we can be. Some of us have the luxury of having a well. Water for us is something that's abundant, but in some countries it's not. Right, so when you look at Sri Lanka's positioning to hold out, I think us, along with similar countries who have a similar culture, similar geographic region or space, might be able to hold out a little bit longer than larger countries. With a larger population.
Where do you think it will hurt us the most? I mean, I know that I agree with you. I think when I spoke to multiple people, I said agriculture, food. That I think we will figure it out because we kind of have that kind of a support system. People obviously even to your worst enemy, if they say I'm hungry, we'll definitely make sure that that guy is fed. That's a cultural thing we have. So I think food-wise, I think we're okay. Where do you think it will hurt us the most as a Sri Lankan? Where do you think it is?
That's an interesting question.
Dude, I do my best.
So here's the deal. I think for a long time, we've been pushing the narrative of economic development. Right, so we've been pushing the whole thing of capitalism. Money in the bank. We got to get up, go work 8-9 hours a day to do something. Now that narrative has stopped. So what you need to really ask is, right, was that narrative good enough in the first place? Right. So where I think a lot of people would struggle is letting go of what they were doing, right? How they were doing it. The philosophy behind what they were doing, and readopting into something new, something more attuned to what we can do in Sri Lanka. So I think it's that readjustment